Let's have a little quick look at this device. This is now an obsolete device produced by Mastervolt. It is a grid connected solar inverter. What's really nifty about it is that it's designed to just plug into a power outlet. So it just looks like a small charging kind of brick power supply. This one not designed for the UK market. In fact, there are no plug-in and play style inverters approved for use in Britain. But it's really quite interesting to see how neat this little device is. So the idea was you just connected up solar panels to the input here and plugged it in, and you basically started generating electricity and feeding it into your local grid or your grid system, offsetting electricity use. So a good little introduction to solar power generation. Because it's not really made for the market in the UK, the voltages are a little bit on the edge of the range. We'll give this a go and see if we can get it to work. So I have a couple of solar panels set up to provide me a voltage here. Let's see what we've got. So if I connect the output from the solar panels. So there we go. Just now I've got two solar panels giving me a open circuit voltage of 43 volts. 44 volts, and I can feed that into our inverter, and as you can see, our lights come on to say power's there, but there's no grid connection. The main thing with these inverters is they mustn't supply mains in this situation, so I don't get a shock touching that, and yet we have a supply into this inverter. So we can plug it into our main supply, but the range for this supply is between 207 volts and 253 volts. Looking at the main supply currently here, see where we are. I'm quite close to a substation transformer, so yeah, we're at 244, so just within range. We shall give it a go at that. Okay, plug it in and supply mains. So this is actually generating some power. Last time I did this I needed to put it onto a Variac to control the main supply voltage. Now it claims to be over 91% efficient in generating power from the solar panels. It has a kind of peak power conversion of about 145 watts. But it's still it's a good introduction to think you can plug this in and offset some of your energy use right away. Okay, I've got it hooked up just onto this, and it gives you, currently it's only 0.05 amps, but it's almost 8 watts. The solar panels are just sitting in the room here, they're not even outside, they're just catching some light coming in the window. So considering that, it's actually interesting how easy it is to set it up and make it work. So I'll have a little look inside. What's going on in here? I don't know if this board comes out. Oh right, that's quite nice. So the connection's just sprung loaded onto these two solder pads there to remove the circuit board completely. So this is our PV input here. There seems to be a bit of smoothing on it. We have our oscillator part here for basically driving or creating our AC for this transformer. So there'll be a high frequency AC here. And the output of that is then rectified with a set of diodes. So we'll have high voltage DC here. We'd normally see a capacitor. There are a few small ones, but nothing big here. And then we have what looks like an H bridge here and some filters. So that's for resynthesizing a sinusoidal output to follow the main supply in order to push the power out. Underneath, this is a pulse width modulating IC, and this one has no number on it, but I reckon this is a controller for the circuit. So where I really liked these was the fact that they were quite cheap, and the idea was you could pick it up, plug it straight into the mains, get hold of a couple of very cheap PV panels, and you could generate your own local grid connected solar energy. The nice thing about that was it just gave you an awareness of what amounts of energy were, and you tended to start looking at saving energy as well as generating it. So there was a bit of a good educational factor involved with this kind of idea as well. Unfortunately, it was never really adopted, certainly not in the UK. Well, I suppose the price of panels and bigger systems are now cheaper too. So it's quite interesting to have a little look inside.